Gesundheit. Well, good Thursday evening to you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. I, of course, am your handsome, erudite host, Bill Sylvie, a.k.a. the Dungeon Delver, bringing you all of the RPG goodness, all the classic RPG goodness, all of the goodness in general, 5 nights a week. And I'm back again. So how are you doing? I hope you're all doing well. And we're just hanging out, having a good time. Tonight, we've got a lot of fun. We've got, in just a few minutes, we've got the Advent Dice Calendar that is rolling on day 15 of the Advent Dice Calendar from Dudragal. Well, from my darling wife. Dudragal sells this, but my dear wife, he got it for me. So we're going to take a look at day 15. And I'll find out together what that wonderful dice in there is. And then just a moment or two after that, tonight's guest, he's a friend of the show and a friend of mine, Tracy Lesch will be here, and he's going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff. And if you don't know who Tracy is, I guarantee you know his work. But well, we'll get to that when we get to that. I don't want to steal a man's thunder. So. We'll dive right into that here in just a minute. Get a little libation, a little liquid courage there. So, hello, Tommy Dye, Chris, Wave of Mutilation, who's been tearing up the comments. Robert Phillips, Can't Find Your Mind. Winter Wolf, greetings. So let's take a look at that Advent calendar. Now, again, this is not sponsored, but I feel like I should say their names because they're really nice folks. And this is a really cool thing. The Dice Advent calendar from Dudragal, or Advent Dice calendar. You know, it's staring me right in the face there. Can't believe I've been getting that wrong. So let's have a gander at it. This is not a White Russian. I guess you could call it a pre-bottled White Russian. This is just Bailey's on the rocks. So, you know, it's whiskey and cocoa powder and cream all kind of mixed together and pre-sold in a bottle. I make desserts with it. I make cheesecakes. I make Bailey's chocolate chip cheesecakes for the holidays, and I buy a big bottle. So I've always got some sitting around, and it's something sweet, you know, little grown-up eggnog there, as it were. Ken X got the brandy. She's holding it down on the brandy tip up there. Tonka Todd, thank you so much. TJ, greetings. One bit of show business. I do want to mention, we had thunderstorms all day today, and I did not feel like risking starting a print run and then losing it due to a power outage, which we did not have. But just the same, I will start. Oh, I had a whole bunch of dice fall out of the calendar there. I will start with the printing. For those of you that ordered Owl Bears and War Duke minis, we'll get to those. So without further ado, actually, it fell out right there. Let's take a look at day 15 of the Dice Advent calendar. So we have here, where did it go? There's day 15 right here, and we'll zoom in on that. Let's just zip over there. Come on, behave. Day 15, and day 15 says, you're sure you forgot about something? Roll for, what's it called? And we have this kind of What is this? This is it's a D10, and it's gold, and it's got like a clockwork affair going on with the interdice spacing. So let's see what we get. Well, last night we got a 12 on the D12. Tonight we got a 1. So that's a little scary. So hopefully that doesn't have any bad portent. So there we go. That is tonight's Christmas Advent dice calendar. So, that said, our guest needs no introduction. So here he is. Tracy, how the heck are you?
I'm great. Hey, season's beatings, everybody.
Absolutely. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to be seen. Good to be seen. How's it going?
It is, it's going pretty all right. I've got a little lubrication here, and just about ready for the holiday season. By which I mean I'm going to spend all next week running around stores in Northeast Seminole County trying to buy Christmas presents, because that's the way you do it. Right? I mean, those tropes about the dad frantically going store to store to get stuff for the wife and the kids, that exists for a reason, right? Who am I to interfere with holiday tradition?
You need to go and get a Turbo Man.
A Turbo Man. Absolutely. Just an appalling movie. I think that movie and Christmas with the Cranks should be put on a single Blu-ray disc so they can be conveniently thrown in the trash.
There you go.
You can just take them. Oh, look, Christmas with the Cranks and Jingle All the Way. Toss. But anyway, so Robert Phillips says, thank you for stopping by, Tracy.
Oh, thank you, man. Always a pleasure.
Todd says, you're actually part of a panel on another channel. Well, how nice for you. Moving right along. No, that's great, Todd. That's awesome.
Who's part of the panel?
Tonka Todd there in the Discord, in the Discord, in the live chat.
Hey, Todd.
Super chat if you want to see me kicking man, Todd. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, Wavy Mutilation says, hi, Tracy. Thanks for terrorizing teenage me with a mind flare.
There we go. Glad to be of service. Anytime.
Well, it is of course part of the story of you, because if you don't know Tracy, first of all, get a copy of this. Get a copy of Art and Arcana, the deluxe set, please. Get the deluxe. Treat yourself. You know what? If you haven't gotten any old school gaming goodness and nobody knows enough about D&D to know what you love, treat yourself this year and get a copy of Art and Arcana and read up about this fellow. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. This fellow, because I'm not going to steal your thunder. You're like a pioneer of tabletop role-playing games. So a quick refresher course for our friends who are maybe a little bit newer and don't know 100% about your contributions to the hobby that we all...
Well, we can quickly run those down. There's Blackmore, Eldritch Wizardry, Boot Hill, Dungeon, the board game, Pieces in the Dragon magazine, and that there.
And that there? Which where?
Yeah, I came on the scene with Blackmore and was stuck around for a couple of years, and then we moved on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and also working on the Tomb of Horrors with Gary, the original Tomb of Horrors, and did some Barsoom stuff that never saw the light of day, thanks to lawyers. But somebody has those somewhere, and they're probably very covetous of those drawings because they're super, super, super rare.
Right. So, there's
also sorry,
yeah,
I almost forgot. Also did work for Stellar Games.
that's right.
It came from the Late Show. Hey, maybe I'll run it at the Guac. I don't know.
Yes. Yes, because that is happening in June, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention.
Yeah. And then you and I, we recently did a module over at Frog God Games, right?
That's right. I was lucky, they started talking about, oh, it's going to be this artist and that artist. And I said, hold up a second. Pump the brakes there, Jimbo. I am writing a module that was given the Gygax stamp of approval that was originally supposed to be part of a larger collab with he and him. I want somebody who was there at the beginning doing art on this. And of course, you graced us with an absolutely gorgeous piece. You can get that. That's The Lost Crypt at Frog God Games. Beautiful piece by Tracy and that. So highly recommend.
It was a blast to work on it. I was, the best part was that we were able to collaborate, and I mean, how can you lose?
Right.
I was very excited to be involved.
And listen, folks, you're not getting any secrets out of me, okay? And they better not out of Tracy, but we're working on something else. There's something coming in the pipe. 2023, you're going to see old school D&D art return to the form in grand style. So, I'm doing the numbers and the crunchy stuff, and Tracy's doing the hard part. He's putting my silly faux Gygaxian words to art, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
It'll be a labor of love, and it's very exciting.
Yes, and like labor, it's probably going to be messy and involve a lot of screaming and pooping, but and afterbirth, no doubt. So now that we've grossed out probably at least half of our audience, let's. You're basically you're essentially a pioneer of role playing games. I mean, you were there at the inception of Dungeons and Dragons, and I mean, it doesn't get any more fundamental than that. Boot Hill. Like you said, Boot Hill was yours. And then you kind of moved on. You started working it further in the field. You had some stuff you did for Marvel when Marvel was casting around for a concept restaurant, didn't you?
Yeah. I was the merchandising artist at Planet Hollywood. And one of the projects they were going to go forward with was a restaurant that was Marvel themed, and I got involved because they could not come up with a main logo that they were happy with. They had spent like tons of money with other freelance agencies trying to get this thing done and approved, and they kept getting rejected. And at the time, I started working for Planet Hollywood as I was like designing their t-shirt line. And so the company that was making them was sort of loaning me out to them. And then eventually they just approached me and said, we'd like you to come to work for the company. So I spent quite a bit of time there with them. But yeah, I came up with the Marvel Mania logo. That was the start of working on that concept. Because once it was shown, they were like, yep, this is it. This is what we were looking for. We couldn't put our fingers on it, but you captured it, and then we based a lot of the merch on that logo,
Mm-hmm.
and went from there. Kind of matched everything up, as it were. Got a big
Wow.
thank you from Stan Lee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Now I forget. I know I've seen some of the awesome stuff that you got from the Marvel period. Have I been lucky enough to see that? Because
Yeah, it was a big painting hanging in my living room
that's right. I
of
just want to
Spider-Man.
interject something, guys. I'm not going to dox him. All right, you don't get to find this out. But honestly, Tracy, I think that the next time you're here, you ought to just like bring stills of your collection, my dude. This guy has got some Marvel memorabilia, some DC memorabilia, comic book collections, just absolutely gorgeous stuff. Absolutely amazing collection of stuff.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. Yeah, I
Excellent.
always like to bring some interesting stuff to the show. Um, but yeah, as far as the getting involved with Marvel, uh, so one day, we're working through all the stuff for the restaurant, and they had some cool stuff. I mean, I didn't get to go to the location, but they brought me back a lot of photographs of what was going on, so I could match up what I was doing with what they were doing physically in the restaurant. But it was cool. They had things like different Iron Man armors, like in tubes, and very industrial and capturing the whole comic book world of Marvel and stuff. But uh, so one day they bring this crate to my office, and I'm like, "What's this?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know but it's from Stan Lee's people." And I was like, "Really?" So we opened this thing up, and it was that painting that you saw on my wall, and with a thank you letter from Stan saying, "Hey, thanks for your great work on the Marvel Mania concept. Love what you're doing. Here's just a little thank you." And it's like the canvas is signed on the back by Stan Lee and the and initialed by the artist that actually did it. But it's like a huge, I think it's a gouache painting of
Mhm.
Spider-Man. But yeah, I'll get a picture of that and bring it on the show next time so people can see
Well,
what I'm talking about.
I definitely think folks will want to see that. But speaking of seeing things, as we were kind of chilling in the green room and sharing war stories and stuff, you said you had some new stuff, some as yet unseen stuff to show us.
Well, the last time I was on the show, um, we talked about some things that were coming up, and we also got into a conversation of some of the days of my horror film show hosting stuff,
Mhm.
right? And at
Now
the time,
I'm gonna screw this up. You were on the forgive me. It's the same kind of show. It's not Svengoolie though. It wasn't Svengoolie,
no,
was it? No.
no,
Okay. No. All right.
it was Nightmare Theater
Okay.
for Milwaukee Channel 6.
All right.
And they would play this on Saturday night in the wee hours, like after everything else.
Right on.
But yeah,
That
I ended up getting some co-hosting gigs there with the man himself, Dr. Cadaverino.
Dr. Cadaverino. I ought to make notes or watch my own shows or something like that to remind me who that is. But so yeah, you were opposite Dr. Cadaverino
And his sidekick, the headless Igor. Um, and I used to, I would send in art to the show, and then of course he'd open it up on air and show off the artwork and stuff and comment and stuff uh, and so one day they asked me if I would come on the show, and I mean, of course, I agreed. It was great. And I've got some photos of that I'll show
Okay.
of like this on the set and all that. And yeah, did quite a few of those. So when we were talking about it, I promised that I would scan some old pictures and articles that I have, because they were just sitting on. My mother had them, and then once she died, my brother found them and gave them to me, but they had never been scanned in digitally. So I did that so I could show some of that to you today.
All right, we'll bring it on. Any particular order we're going to look at this in, or is it just we're just going to kind of roll with what you got?
Okay, let me. Real quick, what I want to do too is just for people that might not have seen it, you and I were at QuestCon this year.
That's right, QuestCon Orlando, folks. It's a one-day gaming convention. Although he might do more days. I don't know, but you should definitely check him out if you're in the Central Florida area or you're going to be in the Central Florida area. QuestCon was awesome, and Tracy was kind enough to let me sit at his booth.
Oh gosh, no, you had to be there. I was like, no, Billy, you gotta be there so we can just kind of hang out and have fun.
Namaste, my friend.
Oh, anytime. I've got to do more of that going forward. And so there was a company there called Shattermare Comics.
Mm-hmm.
And they came over to my table and we talked. And after that, they approached me to do some work for them. So I've got, they had me do a variant cover for, they're putting together a graphic novel collection of the title that they run. It's called Hardly Heroes, and it's based on a D&D group and their adventures, their characters' adventures. And it's sort of there's some comedy and D&D in there. And
Whoa, wait, comedy in a role-playing game? That just doesn't happen. Role-playing games are serious explorations of human drama and deep emotional.
Nah. So what I did, I've got the variant cover, just the black and white line art that I did for it. I don't have the colorized version yet, but this is coming out pretty soon, I think, and it's I believe it's number 7.
Okay.
In the series. So
right, when you get that up, I'm going to kick you over to solo layout so everybody can get a real good look at it.
Oops.
You know, one thing, while Tracy's bringing that up, one thing we had a lot of fun with in the Guac back this past spring, summer, was Artist Alley. I mean, basically it was this, but it was a little bit, and we showed off some of Tracy's stuff, and we're going to do that again this year. And if Tracy's got any merch he would like to pitch through that, we'll do that. But I've opened up the game. I've opened up the con to people who want to run games. We even had a panel discussion at this one. But if you're an artist, if your jam is kind of old school style sci-fi or fantasy art, mostly safe for work. We're not to keep the prawn in your own private directories or folders there, but just let me know, and I'll get some info the closer we get to that. Oh, yeah, speaking of
merch, don't forget my Zazzle store.
That's right. I have I have to show you guys. Doomsword has a mug, but let's see. I haven't shown these on the air in a long time, but this right here is worth the price.
And it's discounted right now for the holidays.
Is it? That's awesome.
you go out there, it's a little cheaper.
So let me just hop over so we can. You know what? I'll just go to tabletop view real quick.
I think it came out pretty good.
They came out fantastic. And by the way, guys, I put this bad boy through the dishwasher. They hold up.
Woohoo.
No problems with that, or else you would have heard from me saying, "Can I please have another mug? How much are those?" But no, these are dishwasher safe. I have a coffee mug over there too. It's the same basic one. Doom Swords buying the Stein. So,
Awesome.
So yes, get yourself some Tracy Lesch merch from Zazzle. So let's see here. Let us add this, and I'm gonna do a full screen layout. Will that let me do that? So yeah, you guys, you can kind of see that there. We've got and that's the cover. That is the cover of the comic you did. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, check that out, boys and girls, because that is that's pretty darn awesome. Let me see. Can I get a better zoom in? No, I can't. That just does that. So. Yeah, that is some beautiful black and white line art, and that should speak to the adventurer in all of us. I mean, that is some quality old school artwork, and there's no AI going on there. All right,
No.
that is 100% human created. I mean, I have a lot of respect for the people who can program the bleep bloop and get the AI to spit out passable art. I tried it a couple times and I got like Gumby with a sword. That was the closest I could get. So there's that one. And did I misunderstand you? Or did you say there was a variant cover you did?
No, this will be the variant cover.
Ooh. Okay. Wave says that's gorgeous. Now, comic aside, are you going to offer this print? Are you going to offer this as a print or on other merch?
That I'm going to have to work out with the guys at Shattermare, see what they want to do.
Sure. I gotcha. I mean, when you do stuff kind of on spec like that, you can't just say, well, thanks for the whatever. I'm going to take this now and continue to make money with it elsewhere.
Right.
So that is, but that is a gorgeous piece. So what is the scene going on here exactly?
It's representative of what's going on in their storyline. There's like a lich who's involved in the background, and then here there's like this. You've got on the one side of the table, it's a gnome character, and he's facing off against another character from the story, which is a hag.
Okay.
And the idea of the game board with the pieces are, there's a couple of characters there from the Hardly Heroes book, and then I put a lizard man there because he's in the story too, plus as like a little homage, a mini homage TSR thing.
Yeah, check that out. That is the Lizard Man logo. That is fantastic.
And this variant cover that I did harkens to another piece that was a cover for a Greyhawk novel.
Okay.
Which, I mean, if you got a sec, I could probably find it for you.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Yes, go ahead. What novel was it?
What is the
now? And just for clarity's sake,
game or something like that, I think.
When you say Greyhawk novel, do you mean like one of the ones from the late 90s, like when Paul Kidd and Rue Emerson were taking the modules and knocking out pulp fiction with those, or Greyhawk novel that Gary wrote.
Let me see, because I actually have the cover.
All right, right on.
I just want to pull it up here. Okay, great. Now we go back over here.
Oh, thank you, Doom Sword. You just got a Stein purchase there, Tracy.
Hey, thank you. Much appreciated.
All right, so let's go, and that is yes, one of those by one of the later ones by Rose Estes, and you can definitely see the influence. I think yes, that is Clyde Caldwell. You can see his trademark logo down in the lower left hand corner. That is a piece by Caldwell, but yours is better.
Oh, yours is gosh. Better. Thank you.
Well, I mean, yours. Look, I want to say it. Shut up, Windows. I am an unabashed fan of Clyde Caldwell. Sometimes this stuff can be a little plasticky, like the Last Spell, which is the title of the painting on the cover of Unearthed Arcana, which we've been sullying ourselves with over the last few episodes, doing a deep dive on that. Not a great piece of art. I mean, it's iconic, it's memorable, but lots of things can be that and not be great. But your stuff has texture to it, dude. I mean, you remind me of like the early art of D&D. Your stuff lives and breathes, and it looks like if you brushed up against that gnome, you go, man, that guy's scratchy. You know, there's texture to it.
I tried to make that sort of my trademark thing. You know, I like doing that.
Oh, for sure. And I tell you, I've met most of the great TSR artists. I kind of missed the boat, as it were, because of course Dave Trempier didn't want to come back to RPG art until far too late in his life. Dave Sutherland was on my, I should really reach out to him one of these days. And he passed away. And same with, I had actually been in touch with Jim Rosseloff, but I've met the most of them, and the thing that ties you all together, whether it's you, whether it's Darlene, Errol, Dave LaForce, Jeff Easley, even Larry Elmore, is that your stuff looks alive. You know, you look at Easley's drawings in S4. My God, it looks like caves you could actually walk into and get lost in. Not that an art director came down and said, dragon needs to be over here, kind of somebody's looming over there. Make sure you have some indistinct caves in the back, And I understand how it is with an artist. I mean, whether people agree with this or not, writing is an art. And when you get told to write certain things to spec, there's a famous rant from Hunter S. Thompson directed at Anthony Burgess because they wanted a think piece, and Burgess sent something that was regarded as wholly unsatisfactory, and he said, I received your 50,000 word screed at our international affairs desk, but I can assure you, if we had an international incomprehensible gibberish desk, it would have wound up there. And then he goes on to continue to lambaste Mr. Burgess about not writing to spec. And again, when they say jump, you say how high. I mean, you didn't get to do what you wanted with Spider-Man when you were working for Marvel. But at the same time, when you do have latitude as an artist, you must find it a lot more fulfilling to produce stuff like what we see on the comic book cover that you did.
Right. Oh, you're absolutely dead on. Yeah. And what you just said too about the Marvel stuff, once I got to that point where they trusted me. I mean, you do have to go through a process with them to be an approved Marvel artist, and then once you get to that point, then which I did, then I was able to start like taking those characters and doing my own poses and drawings of them to go like on t-shirts or other merchandise. So yeah, when you get to that part where you've got latitude, yeah, that's phenomenal. And I've got to do that with a number of characters, including like Betty Boop, Elvis Presley, Dr. Seuss, the world of Dr. Seuss, a bunch of Universal properties. And yeah, once you get to that point where you can do what you want with them and it's okay, that's a lot of fun.
It truly is. We had a question, and I think I think I missed this. I was gonna come back to it, but a couple of people have asked it now. Jimmy and someone else asked, "Do you have a favorite brand of pens for your work, or are you just grab a 3-cent big Bic pen rather and let the muse flow kind of guy?"
Well, it depends. It depends what the job is. Like for instance, if I were going to draw a cityscape.
Uh-oh. Tracy's lagging a little bit. He was saying cityscape there. So hopefully he'll snap back to us in just a moment.
Yes, a cityscape with the buildings with all the lines and angles and everything that you have to do, all the things that have to be like perfectly straight that you can't freehand. I mean, that's different. That requires a different set of pens that have like set nib, not nib, but point sizes to do certain things. And in comic jargon, there's like 0.5, 0.7, so on and so forth for those. So, but that's aside from doing like a character. Okay, for a character, if I can't work with a brush or a combination brush and like a 0.2 pen nib, like a quill type of tip, I like to use, and this is what I used for the cover that I just showed you. I blow through a lot of these. This is like these have like a set point size for the tips.
Okay.
And I primarily work with these are called pen sticks, PENSTIX, and
okay.
I keep a 0.3 around, a larger one size up, which is for me the 0.5, and then if I really need like a really super thicker line, I'll go with like a 0.7. So you'll see these within my reach at any given time. They're like sort of a weird hybrid of marker and brush, but they work great. And the blacks are nice and dark. And you can take these things anywhere. Just throw some in your pocket and go. But yeah, pen sticks is what I use most of the time right now because it's fast and it's easy and the point sizes are set. I don't have to worry about that. And then if I really need more flexibility, I'll go to like a brush with India ink.
Okay.
Hope that answers that question.
Let's see. I saw a question there, but I don't think it's for you. TJ says, "Are the black helicopters circling yet?" I don't know. Who is your favorite artist and influence? Wave of Mutilation asks, who's your favorite artist or influence?
I gotta name one.
Well, you know what? We'll just hammer a couple of S's on there. Artists' influences.
Well, my dad, of course, who pretty much taught me most everything. He was a commercial artist and was always over my shoulder. So, yeah, my father. And then I was very, very highly influenced by the early days of Marvel. And also, like people like Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby was like my hero. Jim Steranko, Neil Adams, who revolutionized Batman for audiences. Bob Kane, I think, although his style was like very golden age and sort of more cartoony, still I've got an appreciation for it and the work that he did with Bill Finger. But let's see, who else? George Perez, who passed away not too long ago, last year, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Perez.
Yeah, so we lost him. But yeah, those are some of my influences.
Wow, that is
very much a comic book guy.
Definitely. And speaking of comic books, TJ asks, Tracy, did you ever work on Thor? Did you ever do any Thor artwork?
I did some stuff just for merchandise. And like what I'll do is maybe for next time I'll try to dig some of this stuff up so I can actually show it to you guys. I have it I have it stored away somewhere, all the stuff I did at Planet. But yeah, I've done some Thor stuff, just not the actual. I've never worked on the book or anything like that. But yeah, I like Thor. I dig Thor.
Well, I've got a question for you, Tristan. I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Have you ever done any collabs, like sat down and like, okay, I'm going to do this and you're going to do that, and we're going to create a piece of art together? And if you have multiples, who was your favorite?
I haven't really. I've been fortunate enough. Well, it's just extra work, but most of the time, anytime I've done pencils, I've done the inks as well, and maybe some coloring too. My only actual collaboration was probably with my father on Boot Hill.
That's right. Yeah, you and your dad did Boot Hill together.
Yeah.
That's still one of my favorite Tracy Lesch stories. Was you and your dad doing Boot Hill?
Yeah, it was a great time.
I honestly, and I hate to say this, it sounds terrible of me. This makes me sound like one of those dilettantes over at the Okium. But honestly, if I had the spare cash, I would track down like an original, because there's PDFs of it floating around out there, right? But I would love to have an original digest size copy of Boot Hill, just to have some of your actual original artwork, not in digital, not a print that you had done, and get your signature all over it. That would be I would
like the same thing.
Yeah, that's a heck of a thing. Is original
copy.
Yeah. A couple more questions. Tommy Dye says, what is your favorite piece of art that you have worked on? Now, I'm going to guess, Tommy, you mean single individual drawing, not like project like Boot Hill or Tomb of Horrors. So,
probably a couple of my latest drawings, which were from the my Cain the Thief character, which Bill has seen. this is a character I play in his game, and as we go along, I'm trying to do pieces from the various adventures that Cain the Thief has had. So I did 2 of those last year, and I was really pleased with how they turned out. So yeah, they're more recent, but I was very pleased with them.
Well, I have to tell you guys a little bit about Cain the Thief, because I almost insist that this is the next Cain the Thief drawing. There were times when Cain was instrumental in the defeat of a particular monster, overcoming of a particular hurdle in the game. As it is with everybody, I show no favoritism. Cain could get snuffed out like that in the next session. Who knows? But this last game, he dealt the killing blow to a ravenous, rampaging giant Christmas pudding. I'm not making that up. Well, I did make that up, but I'm not making it up to you guys. I actually unleashed a giant Christmas pudding, and Cain, insofar as a giant Christmas pudding, has a backstabbed it. I want to see that drawing. You ought to do like a Christmas card with that,
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, and you're like cutting a big slice out of the pudding. But so let's see.
I will while you're talking here, I'll pull one of these of these guys up.
Connect, who is also in the Monday night game. Hello. Connect asks, have you ever worked in oils?
I have.
You have. Excellent.
That was easy.
There you go. Answered.
Do me a favor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this. I'm going to put one of the Cain drawings up. And if you guys will allow me, I'm going to step away for just a second, and I'll come right back to you guys. All right.
Okay. I will do my best to explain the scene when he puts this up, and he'll be right back with a commercial break, if you will. So please fire away, Trace.
I appreciate it. Let me get that going there. And
okay, so yeah, this particular one, the party was actually up in the Abor Alls. If you're familiar with that region in Greyhawk, they were the rolling hills leading up into the Abor Alls, and I unleashed a pair of chimerae on them. And one of them that he fought, he had actually managed to maneuver behind, and I deemed that with its great wings, despite the fact that it's got these multiple heads, its great wings essentially made a blind spot so that it could be attacked from the rear and suffer a backstab. And so that is what you're looking at right there. Now, look, for my money, the Dig in Life Stein and coffee mug, yes, there's a coffee mug too, are awesome. This is something I would want on a t-shirt. Truly, this is an art print level that I would want definitely on. And I love his Cain the Thief is just fantastic. I don't think he had the boots of striding and springing at that point, but he is jumping up off a rock to deliver the death blow to the Chimera that had gotten hacked up and chopped up quite a bit. But he brought them. He brought it low, rather. He brought it low. And it is a lovely piece. I've been fortunate enough to see it up close. You can get prints of that, by the way. I'll let Tracy tell you how, but I believe, and I could be wrong, here he comes back. We'll find out from him. So Tracy, can folks still get prints from this?
Yeah. Now the only problem is, like, right now I don't have an actual store up. It's one of the things that's coming, but to be honest with you, we're in the middle of a move, so things have been kind of chaotic, and I haven't had time to get to all that stuff. But eventually, sure, I'll have a site that people can go to and get prints from. Otherwise, if you if you get me on Facebook and you private message me, we could probably, do it there, set it up or through emails or whatever. Yeah, we could probably arrange something.
Friend this man on social media. Follow him in the electronic friend sense. Don't follow him around. It's creepy. But yeah, and if for whatever reason you can't find, let me know and I'll let Tracy know. I will hook you guys together as best I can. More questions coming in here. I should have charged supers for these. Jimmy says, now I don't want to step on you here, Tracy. But Jimmy asks, do you have a favorite Gary story? I don't know if you have a favorite Gary story, but I think you got a favorite Gygax story.
How
you interviewed and got hired for your job.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I mean,
I'm trying to find that other piece while we're talking.
That's fine. Multitasking.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, all right. Now I come back to your screen. I got like so many windows open on my computer. Bear with me, guys. All right. I just brought up the second Kane picture.
Yes, the pond zombies. The undead. I can't remember, were they zombies or were they ghouls? I feel like they were ghouls because zombies just would have been a fait accompli for you guys. So yeah, the party same adventure as when they fought the Chimera, but obviously in a cave, not out of doors. There's this island covered with mushrooms and whatnot, and as soon as the party got in the water to go to it, here come the undead rising up, because you gotta have the menacing, the undead rising up out of the water and it's dripping down on them. So, and although he did survive, Kane was not stabbing the zombies. He was not soloing all or the undead.
As I recall, one of our party turned them, didn't they? Or
yeah, it was James's cleric. James said, Dawn, take you all and be stoned with you, and they got right out of there. Jimmy says, you swear I said pot zombies? Hey, maybe
pot zombies.
I don't know. Let's see. So questions, because I saw another one. Favorite Gary story. And Tonka Todd has apparently torn a page out of a red book and wants to know if you could invite 3 people anytime to come to a dinner party, who would you want to invite? Thank you. We'll publish that in next month's Reader's Digest, Todd. Robert Phillip. Well, I think this is salient to the Gygax stories. Robert Phillip says, didn't Heidi Gygax get engaged this year? I think Ernie put on Facebook. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm unsure. I don't know that I saw anything on that. I do get stuff from Heidi's feed and from Ernie's as well, but I don't recall seeing that unless I just missed it, which is possible.
Huh. I got the strangest thumbs up. Ernie's a character, I'll just say that. Say that. Ernie's a character, and like I got a notification on Facebook. It was like, Ernie Gygax liked your comment, blah, blah, blah. All right, I'll go look at that. It was literally something I posted 11 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how the Facebook algorithm just showed it to him then, or if he was just searching his name, because he was mentioned somewhere in the space of this giant thread. I mean, I was 11 years ago, I was a fairly different person. So I had to think about what the heck was, I don't remember posting this, but okay. T-shirted historian says, so this is where I lurk. 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 And this is where I hang out with the famous folks, with the truly talented artists.
Where are they?
You stop. But T-shirted is of course from over on Twitter. And by the way, if you're just stopping by, like if you saw my signal flares I fired up on Twitter and you're like, I'll check this guy out. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. It is super duper helpful when you do that. And we will crawl one subscription at a time, slowly up the ladder. We're currently at 1,418 or 19 or something like that. Bless his heart, one of my supporters the other day said, "I'll bet you're up by 10. You're at 10,000 in 3 years." And I, no, that's not going to happen. But thank you very much. Well, he's not leaving. Connect's like, so when will Tracy join us again? He's not going away.
Am I getting kicked out?
No, Connect's like,
they're like, get out of here, play some D&D or something. Play
Connect's
some Traveler.
Putting the leftovers in the fridge and corking all the wine bottles and saying, so when can you come back next time? Yeah, let me just turn on all the lights and take the needle off the turntable. Yeah, when can you be here next time? By the way, you and Connect share something in common. You're both Wisconsinites.
Really?
Yes, really. There, I doxed you, Connect. I doxed you. And of course, she's in the game on Monday nights. That's Stephanie. So.
Oh, hey, Stephanie.
But anyhow, that's mother-in-law treatment. Yeah, come back when you can't stay so long.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Gee, look at the time. So unhappy you have to be leaving.
Yeah, you must be going. You don't want to get caught in that traffic. There's a Southernism, and this may be true of the Midwest and the Northeast, and I don't think it's true of Minnesota, because Minnesota is mostly North Central Europeans who are a bit standoffish. But there's a Southernism that says you can always tell when a 5-hour conversation in the driveway is about to start between two Southern men when the one who's visiting says, "Well, I better get on the road now." Because as soon as he says that, it begins the next few hours. And I've been guilty of it myself. So no, he's not going. He's staying. You're staying. Yeah, good. So I've been meaning to ask you this for a while now, and I've forgotten. Do you have an archive of your television appearances? Are those memory hold or what?
I have some stuff that I got again. It was in my mom's possession, and I just recently got it from my brother because he was like going through all their stuff because my mom passed away 2 years ago. But he just got this stuff to me, and it's been sitting around. And since I mentioned it on the last show, I wanted to scan some of that stuff in because it's old. I mean the color of the newspaper articles, it's no longer anything resembling off-white or gray. It's like orange. And so I scanned that stuff in and cleaned it up. And I haven't scanned all of it, but I brought some stuff to show you.
Good. Bring it.
I have archives of this.
Good. But I mean, if you have any, like any shows that you were on, I don't know if anybody caught that on VTR back in the day. If you've got any of that, I would be willing to bet that if you uploaded that to YouTube, you would probably get thousands and thousands of views on that.
Well, this is like the sad part of the history because we did this at WITI TV6 in Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
and we would go in on a Wednesday evening, and we would tape segments starting at about we'd start at about 7 p.m. and then go until we had what we needed, and then leave after that, and then we'd and then like they would show our clips 2 weeks later on the Saturday Nightmare Theater program. But we would tape the segments on a Wednesday night, like 2 weeks prior to air, and yeah, so they would record this stuff on videotape. And unfortunately, back then, a lot of stations would reuse the videotape. So they might tape a Nightmare Theater, but then reuse the videotape for news segments the next day. So there isn't really, that stuff is kind of like lost to history.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's existing out there, and it may be a bootleg or somebody might have legit like put it out on DVD or whatever, but I believe there is a copy of the final show, uh, Nightmare Theater's, Swan Song show. That may be out there somewhere. I don't have it myself, but and as far as anywhere else, YouTube has like nothing. I mean, if you go out and search for Nightmare Theater or Dr. Cadaverino, you're not going to find anything because it's all been destroyed, unfortunately.
That is a crying shame, and that actually happens. There's a bunch of Doctor Who that happened to. Now, I'm not a Doctor Who fan myself. I know lots of people are. If that's your, I like Tom Baker. The big fro going, the big scarf. I liked that was I didn't know Doctor Who did the whole body swapping thing so they could explain new actors coming in. So I saw like 5 or 6 episodes. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then the next time I watched it, there's like somebody completely different, and I'm like, what the hell is this? But the point is, not to get off on a tangent. The BBC actually located in like Zimbabwe or someplace like that. So somewhere in Africa that was a colonial Commonwealth nation at the time that these broadcasts had stacks and stacks of these. Not everything they're missing, but a bunch of stuff they thought they were. So maybe sitting in a closet gathering dust somewhere, there are some 2-inch reels or some 2-inch cassettes, VTR stuff of this, and it'll come to light one day. And that's, we hope for things like that.
Hopefully, that would be a great find. And it's funny you should mention the Doctor Who thing because, just very quickly, there were episodes with the second Doctor. His name escapes me right now, but he has sort of a mo haircut from the Three Stooges. But some of those were lost, and they found they found some audio clips, and they found some stills from the time, and they like recreated episodes with like stills and the sound stuff from the soundtrack, and then adding things to it like sound effects and music, and like made like their own like little episodes, and it was pretty cool.
That is really neat. Second Doctor, Patrick Troughton.
That's it. Troughton. Yep.
Troughton. Yeah. Okay. Viking hat. He's Robert
And
Phillips.
He did a lot more than Doctor Who. He was very popular over there.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen I almost said Doc Baker. I've seen Tom Baker in other stuff as well. I can't remember anything off the top of my head, but I was like, oh, that guy played Doctor Who.
Golden Voyage of Sinbad. He was.
That's right.
The evil sorcerer.
Yeah, good stuff. So, let's see, just checking. Tom Baker played Sherlock Holmes. They're from Viking. So you said you had some stuff. You want to.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I got like a little smattering of stuff. I got some Lake Geneva stuff.
Okay.
Just because I know you're gonna appreciate it. So
I
I'm going to bring
all
up
yours.
I want to bring up an article.
And by the way, everyone, just in case anyone's out there wondering, the shirts, that wasn't planned. I was just like, oh, it's clean now, and of course it's December, so I'll wear. And yes, Tracy got me the December and Dragons t-shirt. So. All right. Yeah, I'll just add this real quick.
So that's me over there, and well, I'm under the Darth Vader costume as well. But there I am. The year Star Wars came out, and they're interviewing me because I went and I saw it a number of times in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asking me about like what was the, what made it so great, and why would you do something like that, etc. And they talked about my involvement with Nightmare Theater and acting and performing in general. I was 17 here, I believe.
Okay.
So you can see the young me. All right, now let me. Sorry, you got to click around a little bit to share stuff. Window, there we go. There I am.
There he is. That's how we did cosplay back in the day, kids. We didn't have we didn't have like websites where you could spend $9,000 to look exactly precisely like Boba Fett. You did it yourself, and you looked damn good doing it, Tracy.
They had me lead like a parade that was sci-fi themed with kids and stuff, and this was like out in front of the Lake Geneva Public Library.
Excellent.
But this is the costume my brother and I like put together, which is like a pretty damn close replica. Like everything was there, and we had lights and stuff, and so it was pretty cool. So
I was going to ask you if you had the life support panel lighting up. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Here's another shot from that parade, which was kind of fun.
Alrighty. The Martians are coming, so you just have some leggy women with boxes on their heads, and then you're over on the there.
It's a portent of the future. So that was fun. What else do I got here?
Oh, apparently Kenex's mom made her a fursuit. That's something I didn't need to know. I'm just kidding you. I'm just teasing. Oh, Chewbacca. Okay, Chewbacca. Chewbacca's not a furry. You bunch of weirdos.
Now I got to show you something you're going to laugh. This is very significant, and I didn't even realize until I scanned this in and read it. This is an article that I'm going to show you.
I am prepared. Audience, are you guys prepared?
Let me know if you can read that, because if not, I'm going to read it to you.
Okay. So let's see. Arsenic and Old Lace, February 26, 27, March 5th and 6th. 13 of the, I'm going to go full screen on my screen so it'll blow up. 13 of the area's most talented performers are hard at work preparing Lakeland Players Limited midwinter production Arsenic and Old Lace to be presented at 8 p.m. February 26th and 27th and March 5th and 6th in the Elkhorn Municipal Auditorium. Get your tickets now, kids. This 1941 Joseph Kesselring classic still delights the audiences of all ages and revolves around two elderly spinster sisters whose main objective in life is helping old men find peace in their twilight years, peace being buried in their cellar. Sure to charm, however, completely completely destroys one faith in the sweet, innocent old lady syndrome are the Brewster sisters, Abby Linda Cozes of Elkhorn and Martha Carol Mudlaff of Delavan. That's just a little bit outside Lake Geneva. So there are three. My scroll is cutting me off there, so I'll let you take it. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. No. Stop for a second. You did this with another TSR alum. When I went over, you and Alan Hammock did stage together. Today learned. So pick
I'll
up.
bet he doesn't even remember.
Well, the next time he's on the show, maybe I'll have you pop in and we can do, kind of what's my line sort of thing. Read on, because it's cut off on my screen on the bottom. So you go on.
Their three nephews, Teddy, who thinks he is President Roosevelt, Mortimer, the famous dramatic critic, and Jonathan, who looks like Boris Karloff, will be played by Corey Kaepernick and Tracy Lesch, Lake Geneva, and Alan Hammock, Williams Bay. Other personalities sure to add comedy, suspense, or both to the situation are Geneva area residents Linda Clay, Jim Hay, Dave Conant, and Jim Quinn, as well as Elkhorn residents Pat Schmetter, Peter Kouzes, Jack Kearns, and Steve Ballard. So yeah, Alan Hammock, Dave Conant.
That is wild. What a weird confluence. Now, when you got this out and you scanned it, did you make that connection? You're like, holy crap! I was on stage with Alan Hammock from TSR days.
It freaked me out. It was great though. I was like, Alan Hammock, is that the Alan Hammock? It's got to be
the Alan Hammock. So
we're gonna have to ask him.
We are. Send me that image and we'll do a full Hercule Poirot moment on him and say, I presume this is the play you are in, monsieur.
Isn't that great?
On faith. That is fantastic. You never know what you're going to find when you turn over that stuff like that. So what else have you got? I know you've shown it before, but while you're looking, hang on. Do you have the picture of you and the main host of the Saturday Night Frights show?
Yeah, I've got some photos.
Okay.
That's scanned in. So you get a better picture of the host because the photos aren't the greatest. Let me, I've got a promo piece that he signed for me that the station put out. There it is there.
Nightmare Theater, following the TV6 Late Show. That's great.
So there's Dr. Cadaverino on the left, and then his headless accomplice Igor to his right.
Right on.
So that's Dr. Cadaverino.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I've got a folder here with, okay. I got to get to the first show.
We have had Alan Hammock is a semi-regular around these parts. We've had him on 3 times now, I think, which is not to say I won't have him on. Again, we have there's lots of people I'd love to be on the show coming up in 2023. So fear not. Production still. Now that's nice.
Yeah. Now this is from the very first show that I did with him. And what what you can't see or make out very well is that on the table and
Mhm.
in the box next to it, and I'm holding the instructions for, is the board game Dungeon when it first came out.
Oh, spiffy.
So I'm teaching him how we play Dungeon.
Oh, that's great, man. So you were out there repping. You were out there repping, dude. That is great.
And so you can kind of see the costume that I wore. Let me get something that shows a little better.
I could swear there's one of like you two sitting on stage, like he's like looking to you to talk to you, or am I mistaken?
Oh, I do have that. So this is from an article that the Beloit Daily News did on me going on to the show, and to the right, you can see my persona a little bit better. So it kind of gives you an idea of what that blurry image in the background of the photograph is.
Okay, yeah.
So then we get one from the. This might be what you're talking about.
Because your mind's eye has a tendency to composite things sometimes. Like, I remember it this way, and then you're like, no, that's two separate photographs that have just kind of ran together. But this one, that is the one. Yeah. That's the exact one there.
So there's Doc seated, and then the guy to my left is he's another guy that like would send in art to the show, and he would call himself Mr. Mystery. So
Okay.
we met on the set. We became good friends and would like share artwork.
Still in touch with him, or
no, unfortunately not. Kind of lost track.
Probably for the best. It looks like he's gearing up to assassinate the leader of a small Central American country there. He's currently the Minister of Defense in Bolivia or something, I believe. By the way, if you're Bolivian, don't at me. It's just a joke. Okay, I've had. Anyway,
here's another photo.
Now, other than Dungeon, didn't you mention that you repped some other D&D stuff on there, or was that to?
No, I went on there with when the modules came out. I brought those to show off. So no, I brought all that stuff that I had done onto the show so that you could grab a look at it.
That is great. That is so awesome. At a time when there was so much negativity focused on it. Here's this fresh-faced young man striding out of the quiet streets and lakeside beaches of Lake Geneva to put a happy face on it. That is that's very nice. Now, are these all just someone like a family member take those?
Yeah, probably my mom or dad took them.
Well, those are all great, dude.
I've got a bunch more, but I just I haven't had the time to like scan them all in and try to fix them up because the photos are so old. You got to do some Photoshop magic with them to make them look anything worth looking at.
Yeah, no, I understand. My dad, like, I didn't understand the importance of it at the time, and unfortunately, like, I'm literally looking down because Dad had his pose where the afternoon sun would light everybody up, but there's like 3 or 4 generations of us in this one Polaroid photo that is in a family album somewhere, and I'm wearing a bright red soccer jersey in it. And it's the only thing that still has color. Everything else is sepia tone, almost like imagine a sharper photo, but taken in the 1800s, like sharper than they used to photograph back then. But with like modern cars and stuff in the background. The only bit of color that's not sepia tone is that bright red soccer shirt I'm wearing. I'm sure if it had been blue or green, it would be just as brown as everything else. So yeah, those photos from the 70s don't exactly they didn't hold up well.
No.
Canuck says Lake Geneva's a touristy. It is. The last time Colleen and I were in Lake Geneva, we were over near the beach. We were driving somewhere. It was in between games I was playing in or whatever at the last Lake Geneva Games convention that the Troll Lords did for Gary, and this was right after he passed, and we had kind of a memorial one, and then that was it. But both cars in front of me had Orange County, Florida license plates on them. I'm not kidding. Both cars in front of me, Orange County license plates. And I was telling Colleen, I said, you're not going to believe this. I saw more Floridians in a 1 block space just now. So very touristy city. And that is right. The original Playboy Club was in Lake Geneva. It's now the Grand Geneva.
I used to work there. I'll have to tell you that story.
Well, I get telling.
Okay, hold on. Give me just a sec. I'm going to put I'm going to put the painting up so you can explain it. And,
okay.
Give me just a sec. I'm going to mute myself while I do that.
All right. So this painting, I have a copy of this, and if you guys have been fans of the show all along, you've been fans of the show all along, haven't you? Anyway, this particular painting here, Tracy did a series of watercolor pieces for TSR for publication, and I have a canvas print. What I have is not the original. This is on gouache, I think. We'll have to have Tracy tell us. It's huge, by the way. But you guys have seen this in the background. That painting was for TSR, for use in Dungeons and Dragons pieces, but they decided to pass on it, which is a shame because, picture in your mind's eye, that is the cover of the introductory set for Dungeons and Dragons. Not that there's a damn thing wrong with David Sutherland's art. Dave's art was amazing. But doesn't that sell you the same fantasy? Isn't that just as awesome? So that is, but they decided to not buy it. And as far as I'm aware, Tracy still has that original, unless he is parted with it. And there he is. I was just telling folks. I do
have the original.
You do still have the original. Good.
I do.
Good. My last name is Silvey, and you can tell your estate attorneys that I should probably still be living. I'm kidding.
I love it.
But no, that is a fantastic piece, and honestly, I think TSR are fools for not jumping on that and using that on a book. It's a gorgeous piece of color, and I would argue, maybe I'm overstepping my bounds here, but would I be wrong, regardless of whether or not it's published? Would I be wrong in saying that is not the first full color piece of art created for a D&D book? I would, because Deb Larson's cover of Eldritch Wizardry was before that, wasn't it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Which is a beautiful piece of art, and if you don't have Eldritch Wizardry, get yourself a copy. It's worth the 50 or 60 or $70 you're going to have to pay for it. But that's about what you pay for a role-playing game rulebook these days. And you get better art, and it's for a better system. So, Playboy story that you have never told me in the almost decade I have known you, Tracy.
Okay, I worked as a DJ around the area quite a bit. We all knew each other because we were always like working at each other's place. Like I would spin records at like Popeyes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then there was another place in because I think Popeyes is still in Lake Geneva.
It was the last time Colleen and I were there. And by the way, in case you guys are curious, we're not talking about a fried chicken shack chain restaurant. Popeyes is a bar and grill, but they have like like really good food and a million beers from different brands, and it was there, and it's quite good. So you were working in Popeyes,
and there was another club called Ease On Down, and I worked there. I worked at Beach Roamers in Williams Bay, and then that enabled me to go to work for a friend of mine. He was one of the managers at the Playboy Club, and he wanted to cut down his hours per week. So he offered me a job as a night manager of the Bunny Hutch at the Playboy Club, which was basically, it was the disco. It was drinks and dancing, and that was it. And they had like a phenomenal DJ booth, which I got to man.
I highly doubt that was it, but go on.
But yeah, I got to know, the girls. They were like, I was very protective of that. We were all very protective of the girls.
Okay, so Kennick, Stephanie from the Monday night game, her aunt was a bunny. You probably knew her then.
Probably. There's a good chance.
It's a small people.
Yeah. So as night manager, I pretty much took care of the music. So I was like the DJ / night manager, I guess. I had I'd have a bartender for the night, and then three bunnies. And so I pretty much got to know the team, and we would hang out and we would go out on the weekends and stuff when we weren't working. Mm-hmm. And I was dating one of the girls for a while, and they were like really wonderful people. So yeah, we were very protective of our girls.
I wonder if you dated Kennick's aunt. Her first name was Pam.
No, the girl I was dating was a Lori.
And I'm guessing your office door is closed, and your lovely wife is nowhere in the vicinity. I haven't seen any.
She knows I used to work there.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
She knows we used to hang out, and we used to play poker in our underwear after a shift.
Today
we'd go to the dormitory, because the bunnies had a dormitory there on the Lake Geneva property. And so when we weren't working, we might be hanging out there, just having fun and playing poker and getting out of our glad rags, just kind of sitting around hanging out.
That is far out. So when what was it, 2017, when you went to GaryCon, when you were able to go to GaryCon, that had to be not just like Geneva, but the hotel. That had to be a homecoming for you. Did you kind of walk around like, oh yeah, it's over there,
I did.
Wow.
Because the wild thing is, for the most part, that place hasn't changed. I didn't see a whole lot of renovation or anything that looked different to me than when I worked there. So yeah, it was kind of weird. It was like stepping through a time warp.
Wow. That can be such a strange experience. For the longest, too long, I worked in a shopping mall down on the south end of Orlando, Florida Mall. I don't know if you and Shelby have schlepped down there, but a couple of years ago, it seems like a couple of years ago, it's probably more than that, but I went, there's a Microsoft store and my daughter's Girl Scout troop did a programming and video game design badge. So they went down there for a couple of hours one night. And I had not set foot in that place in almost 20 years when I went, No, it would be more than 20 years. And it's the same, but it's also changed because, of course, Musicland Corporation's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, mall record stores, that those just don't exist. You might find stores in a mall that sell music, but Record Bar, Sam Goody, Musicland, so on and etc. just don't exist anymore. And when I went in there,
making me sad.
Oh, me too. But my brain just kind of did a flip flop because I'm like, I recognize this, but I don't. It's like when your brain tries to make a really high definition memory playback in a dream, but it's still screwing up details. And in your subconscious, the little bit of you that is awake is like, no, that is out of proportion. That's too big. And that wasn't there. And there was never one of those there. That's what I was doing when I was walking around the mall. So, but you didn't have that problem when you were in when you were in Lake Geneva for GaryCon in the former Playboy Club Hotel. You're just, yep, it's the same.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it was too. It was just weird because it's like I saw one of the spaces there, and I'm like, oh, that used to have like a little store inside of it where you could get all sorts of things, and now it's like something completely different. But
is that where everybody got their Playboy air fresheners for their cars? Oh, yeah. We all saw in the 70s and 80s. They're about the size of a coaster, black with a white Playboy bunny, and they smelled vaguely of something that was not car funk.
Regret.
Regret.
They smelled of regret.
They smelled of regret. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that was a great time in my life. That's how I was making rent, just DJing. Yep. And they treated me like a king. I got free tickets to all the shows that they had out there. The Cabaret Room, would book people like, I might go get to see a Bob Hope show or Charlie Callis or, I met Sloopy from the song Hang On Sloopy. She actually does a Vegas type show.
Wow. There's
an actual Sloopy. She's a girl. And that's who they sing. That's who they're singing about in the song "Hang On, Sloopy." A lot of people think it's "Hang On, Snoopy," like the dog. It's not. It's a girl named Sloopy.
Okay, so Canik, right now, text your aunt and ask her if she remembers Tracy Lesch from the club. Because if you come back and you're like, yes, she said, this is good. This is going to be the weirdest thing ever in the world on our show. Just the weirdest connection. I mean, I tell people, and it shocks them, and this is true. Everybody out there, 5 or 6 degrees of H.P. Lovecraft. Right now, I am plugging you guys in to H.P. Lovecraft. Y'all know me. I knew Gary Gygax. Gary Gygax was good friends with Fritz Leiber. Fritz Leiber was a corresponding friend of H.P. Lovecraft's when Fritz was a teenager before H.P. passed away. So there you go. You guys, that's 1, 2, 3. You're 5 degrees separated from H.P. Lovecraft, all of you. So text your aunt and invite her to I don't think that her aunt would know what to do. I don't think she'd give a damn about Dungeons and Dragons. But anyway, so back to you, Tracy. Sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. I'm having a great time.
This is the quality show you get, folks. And this is like everything cranked to 10. But anyway, so see, I have known this cat for almost, I'm pointing at the camera like you guys can, I have known this cat for almost, let me see, when did we meet? It wasn't, was it 2016? I don't remember.
Gosh.
Well, you know what? Time doesn't matter. It's the bond of friendship, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But
feels longer. but not in a derogatory way.
No, you're absolutely right.
I feel like I grew up with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Tracy. Thank you very much. Likewise, my friend. Likewise. Well, here's a bit of trivia. Here's something else you can take for. This is H.P. Lovecraft related, and now Tracy, kind of passing a bit of the mantle onto you. HPL traveled very rarely, but one of the places he came to was Florida. He had friends in, drumroll please, D-Land.
Really?
That's right. Okay. HPL back in the 20s, during the very brief time that he would travel, he had friends in DeLand that he would visit, and we got a story, the statement of Randolph Carter, out of one of his frequent visits to Florida. But the aunt lives near me. She'd play if I asked her to. Oh, there you go. Set up a game. The book, Tracy, have you, I don't know if any of my audience has. Tracy, I don't know if you have. Have you ever read the first Dungeons and Dragons novel, Quag Keep?
I think I have, but I also think it was probably quite a while ago. But I remember that title.
But Andre Norton lived one neighborhood over from me. She lived up in Maitland. Gary came down and visited her in 75 or 76, played D&D with her and her kids, because Gary was a fan of Andre Norton. He's like, hey, I want to go visit. I'd love to come and visit you. And I said, okay, I live in this little sleepy suburb outside of a tiny city in Central Florida called Orlando. So he came down. He played Dungeons and Dragons with her and her kids. She did the best she could to remember all the details of D&D, and we got the novel Quag Keep out of it. But she lived up the street. And Kenneth mentions Anne McCaffrey was a fan of a local used bookstore just over here on 1792 and visited it once before she passed away. But I was a huge Dragon Riders fan when I was younger, but by that time I was like, that's nice. I don't really read the Dragon Riders of Pern books anymore, but she was like I said, a big fan there. So it's all interconnected.
Yeah, it's like a conspiracy.
It is.
It's all a conspiracy.
It is. So, but anyway, so we've got the thing you and I are doing, which no, I'm not going to tell you. Stop asking. No, put your hands down. Stop. We're not telling you. So we've got that going on. But what are you doing? What stuff are you doing? Are you going to do more work for the Adventurers Guild? No. The Adventurers League? No.
The you mean the Hardly Heroes series?
Hardly Heroes series. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. In fact, we're already talking about a project. It's going to be like actual sequential comic book stuff where I will be collaborating with another of their artists. And because what we're doing essentially is the basic concept is what's going on in the present and what's going on in the past with some adventuring characters. So the one artist is going to handle the present, and then I'm going to do everything in the past in that old D&D style. So we've got that project coming out. So like half the book will be me and half the book will be him. And let's see, they've approached me about adapting my novel to a graphic novel format. And we're talking about doing this and releasing it with like a leatherette cover.
Ooh.
And just packed with like illustration. Because I told them, I said, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to adapt my book into like a graphic novel, I want it to be absolutely beautiful, so that when you purchase it, it's like, wow. like when you might have bought like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns
Mm-hmm.
and read that for the first time. I was like, I want people to have that same experience and just say, "Man, what a great, beautiful book this is." So I've started like breaking down the novel into, I got to bring it way down into bite-sized formats to go into a graphic novel. So that's interesting in itself. But the process has started, and we're still hammering out details on that. But that's one of the things, or two of the things I'm looking at in 2023. More work with Shattermere Comics and
Excellent.
whoever else.
More character sketches for the Monday night game.
I should at some point.
Well, I mean, I'm the DM. You can just do a stylized logo. This is God hanging in the sky, and work on everyone else's characters on their time. But no, that sounds
Temple
fantastic.
of Sylvie.
The Temple of Sylvie. You're darn right. The book Armor of God.
Yeah.
You told. Go ahead.
I think I put a link there.
Yes, I've got the link to your Zazzle store is up now, and the tiny URL is the link to the book purchase.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you can go there and you can pick up the Paladin Armor of God, one in a trilogy. Get typing, young man. Like I'm anyone to talk.
I know.
But
the clock is my enemy.
It is of all of us. When you're a kid, you just you engage in some recreational activities and you put on the Dark Side of the Moon. You're like, yeah, man, time, yeah. And then you start to hit our age, and you're like, oh crap, time, right? Yeah, now I know what the song's about, right? No, I got to get to work.
Yep.
And so, yeah, no, it's very, 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 very pressing on all of us, but hopefully we'll see that second novel, because I'm keen to read it. It's like at the top of my reading list for 2023. I owe myself a good fantasy read,
and I've got like 2 and 3 sort of plotted out. I just need to go in there and put more flesh on the bones, so to speak. But yeah, that'll be coming. And I'm wrapping up a suspense thriller because it's like 99.9% finished. And I'm like, well, if I should just finish this thing, get that out there, and then worry about the other stuff. So,
well, you know what they say, and I say this as a writer myself. The last 10% of a project represents 90% of the time.
Yeah.
It's like you build something like that, and then you're like, okay, it's wrapped up except for this. This. And no writing fairies are coming along to finish the last 10% of the book, which then takes weeks or months, however long it does.
Yeah. And in the meantime, we're trying to move. I got I got doctors that are like stopping my heart and killing me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you had a little cardiac issue there. Obviously, if you're sitting here gabbing with me and not lying in a bed with a drip in your arm, you're obviously feeling better, I hope.
Well, I'm with Drelsna now, so we're like that.
So. Once again, I ask you for your own safety. Is your office door closed? I'm not sure how Shelby would take a shine to being compared to Drelsna, but no.
No, I've had a congenital thing my entire life. So I had arrhythmia, and at first they did what's called an ablation, where they run like electrodes into your heart, and they kind of zap and they burn the parts of your heart that they want to calm down. So they do that. Well, I had it done, but mine didn't take. I mean, temporarily I was okay. So the next move was to do what's called a cardio version, and that has me going in there, and they just take the paddles, and they basically kill you. They stop your heart, and then they restart it and try to get that rhythm that they want.
So the cardiologist literally said, "Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again?"
Basically,
well, no,
yeah.
We'll do that. Yikes.
Yeah. But I'm here, so
you're here. I mean, you know, every day on this side of the dirt's a good one, you know?
Yep. Another day above ground is a good day.
Another day above ground is a good day. Absolutely. So, we will have some stuff in 2023. Tracy has stuff coming to see in 2023. Too many S's. I crammed them together there. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Tracy?
Well, I just want everybody to have a wonderful holiday season. Enjoy your Christmas, and I hope y'all get to spend some time with loved ones and family.
Absolutely.
I just want to send my good, warm wishes out to everybody, and thank you all for being here and asking me questions. Anytime you have a question, I'm here for you, available all the time.
Yes. And if you want to contact it, like, you're like, how do I get a hold of Tracy? I think, are you on I know you're on the Discord where we go play D&D, but are you on the big Discord, the one for the show?
The one for the show.
The Delver Discord, you silly person, and I'm going to put the invite right here. So if you want to join,
yeah, I don't think I think I have been remiss. I apologize.
There is the invite. It is right up in the chat, so you can come on board and hang out with us and join this glorious mess. And or you can just ping me on Discord if you're like, hey, I want to get in on some of that Tracy Lesch merch. How do I do that? You can hit us up on Discord. So it's easy peasy. Well, thank you, my brother. Thank you for being here. Not just being here, but being here. You know, and of course, all the love in the world to Shelby. Not the least of which putting up with you, but putting up with all of it. She's a wonderful woman.
She's a good one.
She really is. And this slice of your life that you shared with us tonight, Tracy, is awesome. I had no idea about the Playboy Club DJing, so it was new for all of us. But thank you to the audience. Thank you guys for all being here, whether you came here from the Discord or Facebook or maybe YouTube showed you the way. Thank you for coming in from Twitter. And I do want to take a minute because we do have some folks who do help out keeping the lights on. So special thank you to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corian, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James, F. Keck, and the whole observatory out there in Hawaii. You guys do a fantastic job. William Smith, loved you, and Conan the Barbarian, the Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood. No joke, I've known Kevin for 30 plus years now. Great guy. Todd Sharp, the increasingly frighteningly named carnivore farmer, Rob. Jeremy Roll, Boganora, Mikey Mank, Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, the DM's Council, and Baron Von Headbanger. I thank you all for your tireless help with the show. So that's going to do it for us tonight. Tracy Lesch is, you can find him on social media. You can find him on Facebook. Get a copy. First of all, get his merch. I linked the merch earlier. You can scroll back through the show and catch that if you missed it. Get a mug, get a Stein, get some signed prints when he gets those up, and get yourself a copy of Art and Arcana, because guess what? He's got some art in there too.
Oh,
I have been your host. He has been our awesome guest and hang around with friend. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening and peace.